बर Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Inshallah, we will start the program with Tilawat al-Quran. Bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul huwallahu ahad, samad, wa lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad.
محمد وآل محمد صلوات. हाय क्या नींद तुम्हें आ गई, बाजू जो कटे, पा गई प्यास में दरिया की तराई, अब्बास। हाय वो शाह का कहना, मेरे भाई अब्बास। तुमसे पहले मुझे क्यों मौत न आई, अब्बास। तुमने पहलू किया खाली तो कमर टूट गई, दिल कलेजे से जुदा हो गया, भाई अब्बास। हो गए बाद तुम्हारे अली असगर भी शहीद, नींद बेशीर को एक तीर से आई, अब्बास। ठोकरे खाते हैं आंखों में, बशारत न रही, जब से बरछी अली अकबर ने है खाई, अब्बास। ध्यान थी प्यास में न मर जाए, अतफाल हुसैन। तुमने पानी के लिए जान गवाई, अब्बास। रह गए बाद तुम्हारे मेरे दिल में हसरत कह के मुझको ना पुकारी कभी भाई अब्बास। कभी मौला कभी आका कभी सरवर से सिवा और कोई बात ज़बां पर नहीं आई अब्बास। दिल कभी थी मेरे सीने में तुम्हारे दम से हो गई अब मेरे लश्कर की सफाई अब्बास। लाशे पे सकीना के लिए लाशे पे सकीना के लिए लाशे पे सकीना कहने लगे है मेरे अम्मू अब किसे कहूँगी कि मैं प्यासी हूँ चचा जान ला दो मुझे पानी। दिल सोज कोई कहता नहीं अपना दिखाई है मेरे अम्मू। मुहम्मद वाल मुहम्मद सलावत।
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. There's a couple of announcements before I call the Mulana to the member. Tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday, inshallah, we will have a Nawha, Marcia Nawha after Salah. For those who would like to recite, please let me know as soon as possible so that we can allocate recitation. So tomorrow, inshallah, after Salatul Isha, we will inshallah have Marcia and Nawha. This is because before Salah, the time is very short. So inshallah, we will have Nawha and Marcia after. We will have before the Majlis, but we'll also have extra Marcia and Nawha for those who want to recite after Salah. So please let me know as soon as possible so that we can program it appropriately. Also, just a very urgent announcement. In terms of the parking in the industrial area, we are allowed to park there. We have asked for permission, so alhamdulillah, that is fine. But if you see a parking space that has a cone on the parking space, please do not remove the cone because that parking space is not for us to use. So if there is a cone at a specific car park space, please do not remove that cone and park the car. Especially you will see a space with a green cone, which is number 8, brackets 10. Please do not remove that cone and park your car. That car parking space we have not been allocated permission to use. So it's important we do not we respect the authority or the permission that we have been given. Another thing, Alhamdulillah, I know the weather is getting a bit hot, so people are bringing water bottles to the mosque, and Alhamdulillah, we have water in the jugs and in the glasses that people can use. But if you do bring water bottles from home, can I please request you either, if you have finished the water, then please put it in the bins provided in the area. Otherwise, if they are still not, you haven't yet finished, please do take it home. Volunteers are spending a lot of time cleaning those water bottles and the area surrounding that, especially in the multi-purpose. Also, I request everyone, please do take care of your own waste. That's what we have been taught by our prophets or Imam. The Islam's has very high sort of bar of cleanliness. So that is one of the things, including if you see that bin is full and it needs replacement, please ask any volunteer for an extra bag so that we can take the bins which are full and replace it with a new bag, so that it doesn't just apply to volunteers who spend a lot of time in the evening just to clean the area. So it's a polite request for everyone to please assist us with that. And can I request to recite Surah Fatiha for Sayyid Mustafa Parsayan, who was buried today in Iran, and inshallah, and I also request everyone to recite after Salah Namaz Hadiya Mayyit, if you get after Isha prayers tonight or when you get home, who was the uncle of Dr. Tafti's wife. So please, I request everyone to recite Surah Fatiha now, and then inshallah, if you get time, please, after Salatul Isha, to recite Salat Hadiya Mayyit, Salatul Washa, Surah Mubarakatil Fatiha. Can I please request everyone to please move forward as far forward as you can, so that we do not disturb the Maulana as people do come in. So please, youth especially, move as far forward as you can. Bar Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad salawat. Can I request Maulana to the member with a loud nara salawat? Bar Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad salawat.
رحم الله من قرأ سورة المباركة الفاتحة. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله بارئ الخلائق الأجمعين،
باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء حبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم محمد، ثم الصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين، لا سيما ولي الله الحجة ابن الحسن صاحب الأمر والزمان. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الأولين والآخرين إلى قيام يوم الدين. آمين رب العالمين. صلى الله عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، صلى الله عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة، يا غريب الغرباء، يا مظلوم كربلاء، السلام على من جعل الله الشفاء في تربته، السلام على من الإجابة تحت قبته، السلام على ساكن كربلاء. فيا ليتنا ثم يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي، يا سادتي، فنفوز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، قال رسول الله وهو أشرف الأنبياء وخاتمهم صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. أدبوا أولادكم على ثلاث: حب نبيكم، وحب أهل بيتي، وعلى قراءة القرآن. صدق النبي وآمنا به. زينوا مجالسكم بذكر محمد وآل محمد. Second, of your loudest salawat to hasten the reappearance of Maulana Sahib al-Amri wa Zaman. Ahibai bi'i'tibar, we are here tonight gathered to pay tribute to the raging lion from the lineage of Amirul Mu'mineen, this ferocious defendant of Islam that grew up and was given a tarbiyah through Sayyidah Ummul Baneen. This individual, because of his loyalty and his sacrifice, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed upon him a daraja such that he is known as Babul Hawa'ij. And it is on a night like this that there are thousands upon thousands who have hajat, thousands upon thousands from our family members, from our friends, Shias of Ali Muhammad who are in need of du'as, are in need of shifa. And before we begin this Majlis al-Mubarak with the wasila of Abul Fadil, all of us, let us recite 5 times Amma Yujibu insha'Allah. And for those that are in need and those that are in need of shafa'ah, insha'Allah, by the wasila and the tawassul of Maulana Abul Fadil, they are able to be blessed with the best of health. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أمن يجيب أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء اللهم إنا نسألك باسمك الأعظم يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله وبحق محمد وعلي وفاطمة والحسن والحسين والأئمة الراشدين من آل طه وياسين وبحق مولانا قمر بن هاشم سقاي العطشاء يوم كربلاء بحق أبو الفاضل يا Allah. Mu'mineen and mu'minat who are not in the best of health, you grant them shafa'ah. By the sake of Abul Fadil, Ya Allah, those of us that are in financial difficulty, you provide them ease in the fastest of ways, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, by the sake of Abul Fadil, those of us students studying, putting forward exams, grant them success in their academic journeys, Ya Allah. By the sake of Abul Fadil, Ya Allah, those people who are not married, you grant for them the best of spouses and the healthy family life, Ya Allah. By the sake of Abul Fadil, Ya Allah, those that are married and are not blessed with children, you give them a prosperous lineage from servants of Ali Muhammad, Ya Allah. Bihaq Abul Fadil, Ya Allah, grant us maghfirah during the time of death, ease at the time of transition, and the highest levels of Jannah in Alam al-Barzakh and beyond. Bihaq Maulana Abul Fadil, and by the haqq of the tears that are spilled for Abul Fadil. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. أحبائي, du'as that are done in the name of Abul Fadil, Ajib wa Gharib. And this shining qubba of Abul Fadil is a qubba, yes, in Karbala, yes, over his shrine, without a doubt. But this qubba of Abul Fadil is so vast, anywhere where the dhikr and the majlis of Abul Fadil is done, it becomes under the qubba of Abul Fadil. And you will see how destiny changes when you do dua sincerely through Abul Fadil. This is a position granted to him by Allah for what he did and what he stood and represented on the day of Ashura. Majlis of Abul Fadil, Ahibai. If you were to try and describe Abul Fadil in a sentence, perhaps somebody would come and say that Abul Fadil is the ultimate display of loyalty. But if you were to come, the poet says, if loyalty was to stand in front of Abul Fadil, loyalty would become ashamed and say that I am treason in comparison to you. And when we begin this Majlis of Abul Fadil and understanding the azamah and the grandeur, the great status of Abul Fadil, it is imperative for us, it is important for us to go back to the roots and to return to that one conversation that Amirul Mu'mineen Ruhi Lahul Fida had with his brother Aqil. Because the historians mention that when Amirul Mu'mineen was looking to marry, you know, Amirul Mu'mineen never married another woman during the life of Sayyidat Nisa'il Alameen. And Sayyidat Nisa'il Alameen herself on her deathbed in her wasiyah had put forward to Amirul Mu'mineen that he should marry after her death, such that the children are not left alone and do not feel the loss of a mother. In any case, you find years later, Amirul Mu'mineen, as he is seeking for a spouse, he approaches his brother Aqil. And the Aqil, the brother of Amirul Mu'mineen, was a person who was well versed in the knowledge of genealogy. He knew and had knowledge of all the tribes that lived in Arabia, past and present. And he knew the traits of these tribes and knew the akhlaq of these tribes. And so he goes to Aqil, and Aqil, by the way, you know, the shuhada from the family of Aqil on the day of Ashura, Allahu Akbar. This is in addition to his grandchildren from the children of Muslim bin Aqil. This was the children of Aqil that participated on the day of Ashura. The sacrifice that they gave, Allahu Akbar Bani Hashim. But Amir al-Mu'mineen comes to Aqil and he says to him that I am searching for a woman from an honorable tribe, min fuhulatil Arab. The sentence states, from the most honorable tribes, a woman from the most honorable family background, لِأَتَزَوَّجْ بِهَا, so that I may marry her. فَتَلِدْ لِي غُلَامًا يَنْشُرُ الْحُسَيْنَ فِي كَرْبَلَاء. I am looking to marry a woman from an honorable background, from an honorable family, through whom I can be blessed with a son who will be a supporter for Imam al-Hussein on the day of Ashura. And from here, Ahibba'i, you find that Amirul Mu'mineen Ruhi Lahul Fida, within this one statement, opens for us treasures of ma'rifah. Number one, from the treasures of ma'rifah, Amirul Mu'mineen were able to uncover from this statement. Amirul Mu'mineen is showing us the keys to the art of successful parenting. Many times, we start thinking about parenting once the child is conceived, once the child is born. We now start thinking about what is the right parenting technique to raise our children. Whereas you find in the statement of Amirul Mu'mineen that the art of successful parenting, techniques in the art of successful parenting actually begins not even before conception but before marriage. Notice how Amirul Mu'mineen already had a clear vision of what he wants from his child to achieve in life. And from here, you find that tarbiyah plays a great role when it comes to the art of successful parenting. One of these aspects is that the parents, the mother and the father, need to define and set a spiritual goal that their children may achieve. Setting goals for our children is important in terms of academic goals, professional goals, sporting goals. Tamam, bila shak. But in addition to this, there is a need, because we say we are the followers of Amir al-Mu'mineen. We say we are the Shias of Amir al-Mu'mineen, which means that the teachings of Amir al-Mu'mineen are teachings that we need to embrace, teachings that we need to implement in our own lives. And we see over here that Amir al-Mu'mineen has a clear defined spiritual goal and a spiritual target for his children way before conception. And you all know that in the field of successful management, game plans are only as effective as the target or the goal. In fact, you cannot even create a business plan. You cannot create a goal plan if you don't have a target, if you don't have a goal. Sahilola, the same thing, even in your university studies. If you don't have a goal in terms of what profession you want to specialize in, you don't know what path to take in terms of what courses to study, what courses to not study, what electives to take, what electives to not take. Game plans and action plans are only as effective as the goal which is designed and the goal that is formulated as an end result. Amir al-Mu'mineen had an end result and a goal and a target which was absolutely clear. I want somebody who is going to be a loyal, staunch supporter of Imam al-Hussein on the day of Ashura. This is the goal. Based on this goal, the action plan is what? That I am going to search for a woman from an honorable tribe and a tribe of horsemen and swordsmen who will then give birth to Abul Fadil. See, when we have a goal defined for our children, then we have a game plan for our tarbiyah. Just like the way they say, even in secular techniques of parenting, which I believe a great part of this is actually been imported from Islamic literature. When you want to raise a child and you have a goal in your mind that I want to nurture in my child the traits of confidence. I want him to be a confident person. If this is your goal, your tarbiyah, your program of tarbiyah, your day-to-day dealings and interactions on how you raise your child are going to be based on this goal. In that, if you want your child to be confident, you want to nurture within your child the trait of confidence, then what you will do is, as you are bringing up your child, you will encourage them to take risks in their own small parameter, within the constraints of their life, according to their level, according to their status. Take risks. As your child keeps growing on, you will also teach your child that part of confidence is that do not be scared of failure. Shuf tadrijiyan. First you teach them take risks. And when you take risks, sometimes you're successful, sometimes you fail. But learning how to deal with failure is important, because failure is a reality in life. And failure is a temporary state, which actually, if understood, polishes within you and removes within you the gold and the power of determination to attempt for the second time and be better and excel to a level much higher than if you had success the first time. Even failure has some sort of hikmah behind it. It's how we deal with it. And therefore, if you have a goal for your child that I want them to be confident in life, If you have this goal, then you have a manhaj and a game plan for tarbiyah. But if I didn't have a goal, tarbiyah and manhaj is all over. Sahlola. Tamam. Therefore, a spiritual goal, setting spiritual goals for our children is an important part that we learn from the teachings of Amirul Mu'mineen. Setting spiritual goals, by the way, is an extremely Quranic concept. Shufu, if we were to go back to the Quran, Surah Ibrahim, Bismillahir Rahim, this verse number 40, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala narrates to us the dua of Ibrahim, Nabiullah Ibrahim, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillah alladhi wahaba li ala al-kibra Ismail wa Ishaq inna rabbi la sami'ud du'a. Alhamdulillah, praise be to Allah who granted me sons Ismail and Ishaq. This is the verse before 39. Sorry if I didn't mention to the AV team. For context, this is what Nabi Ibrahim starts with, what? Shukr. Ya Allah, thank you for granting me children. And Ibrahim was granted children at an old age. Now, the point of our analysis. Look at what Nabiullah Ibrahim says. Rabbi ja'alni muqima salat wa min dhurriyati Rabbana wa takabbal du'a. Rabbi ja'alni muqima salat. Ya Allah, make me from amongst those who establish the salat, and my children and my progeny. Meaning that Nabiullah Ibrahim is doing dua over here. Make me from amongst those who will establish the salat. Not only me, but make my children from amongst those who establish the salat. So from here, we are able to understand the tafsir of this verse of the Holy Quran, that we learn that it is from the tarbiyah of the Anbiya. Nabi Ibrahim had a goal for his children, for his progeny, that they should be amongst those who will establish the principles of salat. He had a goal. And now that he had a goal, he asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for tawfiq. Dua for the success of the children, spiritually and otherwise, is absolutely important. But this surah, this verse of the Quran shows us the importance of setting spiritual goals that can be achieved through our progeny. Subhanallah. Ibrahim alayhi salam did a dua. Make from my lineage those who establish the salat. Yesterday or the day before, we said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Inna Allah astafa Adama wa Nuhan wa Ale Imran alal alameen. From Ale Ibrahim is who? Ale Muhammad. Rasulullah is from the lineage of Ismail. So over there, Ismail did a dua, give me a progeny that will be from amongst those who are muqimus salat. From Ale Muhammad, from Ale Ibrahim is Ale Muhammad. From Ale Muhammad is Imam al-Hussein. And in the ziyarah of Imam al-Hussein, you say, Ashhadu annaka kad akamta salat. The dua of Ibrahim at that time, and the manifestation of this dua in its entirety in Karbala. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Tamam. From here, Ahibba'i Ba'ad, tafsir of this verse of the Holy Quran in light of the words of Amirul Mu'mineen. What else are you able to uncover? When if you understand that performing dua for the spiritual well-being of your children and having a spiritual goal for your children is from the sifat and the traits of the Anbiya, like the way we saw in the Quran. Similarly, when you go back to the conversation that Amirul Mu'mineen had with Aqil, and you find that he tells Aqil that I am looking for a son who will be the protector and the defender of Hussein, like the way Ibrahim had a spiritual goal, Amirul Mu'mineen also had a spiritual goal. Meaning what? If you were to compare the statement of Amirul Mu'mineen and the dua of Ibrahim, you see that Amirul Mu'mineen is a reflection of the sifat of the Anbiya. It's a reflection of the sifat of Nabiullah Ibrahim within the Quran. Ya Ali. This is number one. Number two, when we say that Amirul Mu'mineen is the Quran Natik, that Amirul Mu'mineen is the walking Quran, Amirul Mu'mineen is the talking Quran, you can see in his interaction with Aqil that Amirul Mu'mineen is an implementation and a manifestation of the verses of the Quran. The principles of the Quran in its entirety is embodied in the actions of Amirul Mu'mineen. Hence, it is not empty rhetoric when we say Aliyun ma'al Qur'anu wal Qur'anu ma'a Ali. Ya Ali, sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. These are not, I say, even to the Shabab there in Watford, these are not empty fada'il that we say Ali is with the Quran, Quran is with Ali, or that Amirul Mu'mineen, within him Allah put the sifat of the Anbiya. These are not empty emotional rhetorics. This is haqa'iq. These are realities that are in front of us. Allah Azza wa Jal has given you imams and guides of the highest caliber, the caliber of which inshallah we will see in the coming Majlis, scope of the distinction, I think, of Ali Muhammad, either tomorrow or the night after. Tamam. So if you understand this, Ahibai, you now begin to understand the grandeur, the azama of Abul Fadil. Tamam. If we move forward from here, from this entire incident, this kalam of Aqil with Amirul Mu'mineen, we discovered a whole number of things about the reality of setting targets and the art of parenting, setting spiritual targets. Let's review back the kalam of Amirul Mu'mineen. Amirul Mu'mineen says to Aqil, find for me a woman min fuhulatil Arab, who is from the most honorable families. Sahih? Fuhulatil Arab. Aqil goes on to say that the mother of Ummul Banin, yani the grandmother of Abul Fadil, because now when they're looking for a hand, when they're looking for the hand of a woman, when they're looking to seek the hand of a woman in marriage, they look at the parents. Sahlola. The mother of Ummul Banin alayhi salam, her name is Sayyida Thumama. Historians describe her as being a woman who is adiba wa labiba, meaning that she was a woman who possessed a high level of rationality. She was a woman that was very rational, very smart. The father, the hadith says, the historians mention that the father of Sayyidah Ummul Banin was from amongst the most bravest horsemen and warriors who displayed nobility both on the battlefield and off the battlefield. We are talking about the traits that are possessed by the parents of Sayyidah Ummul Banin. Amirul Mu'mineen himself goes without doubt. Amirul Mu'mineen, Shaifullah, Amirul Mu'mineen, the warrior of Allah. Amirul Mu'mineen is the one whom Jibreel said, La fata illa ali la sayfa illa dhul fiqar. The warrior of God, Amirul Mu'mineen. The alim of Allah, Amirul Mu'mineen. Sahih Lola. Now, when Amirul Mu'mineen says that I am looking for a woman who comes from an honorable tribe, who will give me a son that will be a supporter for Hussein on the day of Ashura. Spouse selection. Look at this. Amirul Mu'mineen uncovers for us a secret in science and a secret in reality, which 1400 years later today is starting to get uncovered. Amirul Mu'mineen actually was speaking about and alluding towards genetically inherited behavior. Shufu, Shabab. The human being is created of two, body and soul. And I understand over here that majority of you are in the field of medicine. Inshallah, this is something you are able to relate to more than even myself. The human being is made of two components, body and soul. Tamam? The body, science is proof, science is witness that from the physical aspect of your creation, there are certain aspects of the gene that are inherited. Sahih Lola, this is why somebody will inherit the complexion of their parents. Somebody will inherit what looks similar to the nose, the physical characteristics, the eye color, the hair. This one has silky hair, curly hair. All these things, these are physical traits that are inherited. Sahih Lola, or I'm wrong? Sahih, something that is established in science, Lola, established. Bila shak wala kalam. However, we all know that modern day science and modern day medicine, when it diagnoses the human being and studies the human being, it takes into consideration the aspect of the human being that is solely, purely biological. Sahih Lola, it is within the parameters of biology. They don't take into consideration metaphysics and the spiritual aspect of the soul. Sah Lola, tamam. So we are able to understand that, number one, premise number one, that behavior, the claim that we are making is that behavior is genetically inherited. I'm not saying all behavior. One component of behavior is genetically inherited. This is the claim that we are making. In order to prove this claim, we're saying a premise is that there are certain, premise number one, that the human being is made of the body and the soul. Premise number two, that there are physical aspects in our body, physical creation, that is inherited and passed on to the next generation. Complexion, physical features, height, skin color, eye color, hair type, so on and so forth. Tamam? Now we want to come and we want to prove over here that in addition to the inheritance of physical characteristics, there are also spiritual and behavioral characteristics that are also inherited and passed down in the genes. And Amirul Mu'mineen was super careful about this, which is why he said that I want a woman who is from the most bravest of the Arab tribes. Why? Because traits such as bravery are also inherited through the gene. So look at this. We have over here, and those of you who specialize in this field, there is tons of research that can be done over here. What I was able to find in a very short period of time, a research paper that is written by Dr. Ruby Widow. And Dr. Widow is a professor of medical and molecular genetics at the Indiana University School of Medicine. In a part of the research, Dr. Widow writes over here, we know that social forces like socio-economic status play a role in influencing a person's life and outcome. Bila shakkin wala raib. Our environment affects our behavior. However, Widow says, but we also know that there is a genetic component to every behavior. What we don't understand, this is an attestation from one of the most intellectual people who are at the highest level of this field. They are saying what we don't understand yet is how these biological forces interact with the environment. These biological forces within the DNA through which behavioral traits are inherited. Spirituality is part of your behavior. She says we still haven't figured this out because science primarily has not or does not want to establish the existence of a spiritual realm of Tawheed. Sahlola. But in regards to all of this, look at what she says. We are using, he or she, I'm not sure, but the doctor is saying we are using well-powered genetic data to do more accurate and replicable social science to explore what may possibly be at the intersection between genetic and behavioral science. They are now starting to use the highest level of data and technology to find what is the correlationship between behavioral traits that are passed down through genes. And this is a reality that was actually disclosed by Amirul Mu'mineen 1400 years ago. In the book Ghurarul Hikam, Amirul Mu'mineen says, Husnul akhlaq burhanu karamul a'raq. The best of akhlaq, when you possess good akhlaq, he says it is the greatest proof of inherited nobility. Inta Habibi, if you are Kareem, you pass on this gene of karama to your children. Inta, if you are Bakhil, you pass this gene of bukhul, miserliness, to your child. Inta, if you are a mu'min, you pass the gene of iman to your child. Inta, if you are munafiq wal ayadu billah, you pass the gene of nifaq onto your progeny. Inta, if you are a lover of Imam al-Hussein, you pass your gene of this Hubb al Muhammad to your lineage, which is why Rasulullah says in the beginning part of the khutbah, we said hadith of Rasulullah, Addibu awladakum, raise your children on three things: Hubbu nabiyyikum wa hubbu ahli bayti wa qira'atil Quran. Enter, if you uphold the salat, this aspect of ikamatus salat within your genes is passed on to your child. If you're a lover and a matami, this is passed on to the child. We're not saying that the genes are the only thing, but what we're saying is that it is a big aspect, as mentioned by Amir al-Mu'mineen, and science is at the doorstep of discovering something that Amir al-Mu'mineen stated 400 years, which is why we say, Shabab, when we say that ilmul awwaleen and ilmul akhareen is with Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, these are not empty slogans. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Kalam kathir. We have to also give honor to the Masaib of Abul Fadil. Tonight's Masaib is not a Masaib that I want to cross through. And I'm telling you from now, if I am 5 minutes, 7 minutes over in my time, forgive me over here. It's the night of Abul Fadil tonight. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Abul Fadil and the Adama of Abul Fadil, every distinction and every honor that Abul Fadil you celebrate or you commemorate or you see on the day of Ashura, his mother Sayyida Ummul Baneen has a role in this, because Abul Fadil is the product of the tarbiyah of Ummul Baneen. History tells us that Abul Fadil never addressed Imam al-Hussein as his brother. He addressed him as his master, my master. Where did this tarbiyah come from? Tarbiyah started with his mother, Sayyidah Banin. Because the history narrates for us that when Amirul Mu'mineen married Sayyidah Banin, on their wedding night, Sayyidah Banin is brought into, marriage. This is a daughter. She's from an honorable tribe. She is from a respectable tribe. Her mother, her father, her tribesmen have brought this new bride into the house of Amirul Mu'mineen. She's entering into the house of her husband for the very first time. There has to be ihtaram, there has to be respect, there's everything. Intum, you know this. We have sisters, we have mothers in the house, daughters. Sahlola. When Sayyida Banin is being brought into the house, on her wedding night, she refuses to enter into the house and she stands outside. Amir al-Mu'mineen says to her, Banin, because Banin's name is Fatima. It's Fatima al-Kilabiyah. He says to her, Sayyidah Fatima, why don't you enter into the house? She says, no, before I enter into the house, I want to have an understanding with Hassan, Hussein and Zainab, Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein and Sayyidah Zainab, that I am not entering this house as your wife, but I am entering this house as your servant. When Banin entered the house in this way, the tarbiyah is reflected in Abul Fadil. The mother had instilled tarbiyah from the beginning. She didn't instill, she lived this tarbiyah. This is what we are saying. And this kalam thaqil. Abul Fadil never called his Imam al-Hussein my brother. You know when? Until the final breaths of his life. Maktal mentions that when Abul Fadil fell to the ground and Imam al-Hussein went running, we'll mention how Imam al-Hussein reached Abul Fadil. When Imam al-Hussein finally reached Abul Fadil, Intum, take yourselves, Abul Fadil's grave is buried exactly where he fell. Imam al-Hussein has reached Abul Fadil Abbas. He sees Abul Fadil covered in his own blood, without any arms. The skull of Abul Fadil was split open, and there is lodged with arrows in his face. In this state, Imam al-Hussein sits down next to Abul Fadil. Maktal says he lifted the head of Abul Fadil so gently. He put it on his lap. What does Imam al-Hussein say? He says to Abul Fadil, my brother, once in your life, just once in your life, call me brother. Abul Fadil, because of the injuries that he had sustained, in the faintest of voices, barely a whisper, came out of his breath, Akhi Hussein, my brother Hussein. And as soon as he said this, the Maktal mentions Abul Fadil threw his head off the lap of Abul Fadil. Allah. Statement is so easy to say, but it's so difficult. Into you're in the field of medicine. Where are you? Doctors who are over here. If you have a person who doesn't have any limbs and his skull is half open, how would he throw himself off onto the sands of Karbala from the lap of his brother? He throws himself off. Allahu Akbar. Imam al-Hussein saw this. He gently picked the head of Abul Fadil. He put it back on his lap. He says to him, brother, why did you remove your head from my lap? Abul Fadil looks at him. When we say Abul Fadil looked at him, he looked at him with one eye because the other eye had an arrow. He looks at him and he says, brother, in my final moments, my head is on your lap. But in your final moments, who is going to be there? Allah. I say, Abul Fadil, Shimmer will be coming and kicking Imam al-Hussein. Zainab will be looking from the till. This Abul Fadil was the height of wafa. You look through history, you will not find that Abul Fadil gave any khutbah apart from one after the permission from Imam al-Hussein before he went into the Maidan. Why? Abul Fadil was an alim from the ulama of Al Muhammad. Abul Fadil was a faqih from the fuqaha of Al Muhammad. But the ihtaram, the tarbiyah that was given to him, that a slave doesn't speak in front of the master. This Abul Fadil was the backbone of Imam al-Hussein on the day of Ashura. Abul Fadil was the backbone of the entire army on the day of Ashura. You know, Shabab, on the day of Ashura, I've said this a number of times, it wasn't an all-out war where half the army of Imam al-Hussein got demolished in one go. La, la, la. After 4 khutbahs and after a number of miracles, when Imam al-Hussein planted or formulated his army and arranged them in a format, the center wing held by Abul Fadil and the Bani Hashim, and the right wing by Zuhair ibn al-Kain, and the left wing by Habib ibn Madahir. When the war initially began, Imam al-Hussein sent people out. The norm of the Arabs and the norm of warfare is that there would be one-on-one duels and one-on-one combats. So there are people who went out in one-on-one combats in the beginning, and then 2-on-2. The Maktal mentions that at one point of these combats, 4 people went out. So it was a 4-on-4 combat. 4 people went out from the ranks of Imam al-Hussein, companion by the name of Majma, companion by the name of Amr, companion by the name of Sa'ad, and companion by the name of Zuhair. 4 of them went out in a 4-on-4 duel. These 4 men were standing, and you know, the duels and the combats that were happening at the beginning of the war were one of the most critical aspects, because it has a psychological impact on the side that either takes a defeat or takes a victory. So the historians mention that these 4 people with Majma standing in a line as if they are one compact wall. They met 4 people on the other side, sent them to Jahannam wa bi'sal masir. Met another 4, sent them to Jahannam multiple times. These 4 people were unbeatable. So Umar ibn Sa'ad said, let's not meet them 4 and 4. Let's attack all of these 4 people together. The narrations mention these 4 men went deep into the heart of the battlefield. They were surrounded by enemies, and then the enemies separated them. When Imam al-Hussein saw that these 4 companions are getting massacred and are in deep trouble, you know what Imam al-Hussein did? He called on to his brother Abul Fadil Abbas. Imta Abbas, go into the battlefield and rescue them. Do you know what this means? In today's day and term, Abul Fadil was the head of a rescue brigade. Abul Fadil himself was a rescue brigade. He went into the battlefield with his sword, dispelled the enemies, brought the 4 men together who were heavily sustained by injuries. They went back into the battlefield and became shaheed. The role of Abul Fadil on the day of Ashura was azim. When Imam al-Hussein says, Inta sahibu liwa'i, that you are the flag bearer of the army, this is not something small. The entire morale and motivation of this army revolved and did tawaf around Abul Fadil. He was that center of gravity. This Abul Fadil, one after one with Imam al-Hussein, kept bringing the bodies of the shuhada back into the Khaymaga, until the Maktal says no one remained in the army. From the Bani Hashim, a majority of the Shabab had become shaheed. No one remained in the tent except Imam al-Hussein, Abul Fadil, and Ali Asghar. So Abul Fadil Abbas goes to Imam al-Hussein and he says to him, Master, سيدي يا أبا عبد الله قد ضاق صدري وأريد أن أخذ ثأري من هؤلاء المنافقين. It says, Ya Aba Abdullah, I cannot contain anymore. I want to take vengeance from these munafiqeen. Imam al-Hussein looked at Abul Fadil. He said to him, Inta sahibu liwai. Inta alamata jayshi. He says, you are my flag bearer. You are the core of this army. Abbas, if you go, there's nothing remaining in the army. Allahu Akbar. Imam al-Hussein says to him, go out and speak to them. Perhaps they will seek guidance. So the Maqtal mentions Abul Fadil went into the battlefield and he said to them, on his horse he went and he delivered a khutbah and he said to them, O people, this is Hussein ibn Ali whom you invited to Kufa and then betrayed him. You have killed his family members and you have killed his children and his companions. And there is no one remaining except the women and the children, and they are dying from thirst. My Imam says that if you really want the land of Hijaz and Iraq, let us go. Let us go as far as Rome. Let us go as far as the subcontinent. He says, let us go to either Rome or Hind. Hind meaning subcontinent. Let us go there and quench the thirst of these women and children. They have nothing, they have done nothing to you. The army went silent. A few moments later, Maqtal mentions, Shimar cried out. He said, Yabna Abi Turab, the son of Abi Turab, if this entire world was filled with water and we had control over it, we would not give you even a drop until you give bay'ah to Yazid. Abul Fadil heard this. He went back into the khayma and he informed Imam al-Hussein of what has happened. And as they were talking, from the women, from the tents of the women and the tents of the children, there came a raging cry of Allah Atash, Allah Atash. 3 days of hunger, 3 days of thirst in the desert heat. The children were not able to take it. The cries of the children were so painful that when they heard the cries, both Imam al-Hussein and Abul Fadil, tears were rolling down their cheeks. So Imam al-Hussein says to Abul Fadil, if you must go out, then go and seek water for the children. And Maqtal mentions that Abul Fadil took the water bag, the mashk. He put on his helmet for war. He put on his armor. He took his sword, and then he held the alam, the flag of Islam. He embarked upon the horse. At this time, Sakina found out, and Sakina saw that her uncle Abbas is going to get water. Do you know what happened? Say the Sakina went into the khayma, she gathered all the children. She said to them, you know what, now we're not going to be thirsty anymore because my uncle Abbas is going to get water. My uncle Abbas never breaks his promise. Maqtal narrates over here that all the little children, Sakina, Khawla, Allahu Akbar, Safiya, Imam al-Baqir, Hamid, Atika, all these children, they came with little bowls and they are sitting in front of the khaymaga waiting for their uncle Abbas to come back, which is why when Abul Fadil saw this, he looked towards the heavens and he did dua, Ya Allah, give me enough strength to come back. The narrations mention Abul Fadil entered inside of the battlefield like a raging lion, and as soon as he entered into the battlefield, he cried out to the people saying, أقاتل القوم بقلب محتد أذب عن شبت النبي أحمد أضربكم بالسيف المحند حتى تهيلوا عن قتال سيدي إني أنا العباس ذو التودد نجل علي المرتضى المؤيد. Abul Fadil went into the battlefield saying, I am the one who is guided, the son of Ali, and I shall strike you with my Indian sword with a heart that is guided, and I shall protect Hussein until you people move away from him. The Naqtal mentions Abul Fadil went into the Maidan. The enemies did not know what has come upon them. He attacked them like the black wind of death. Anyone who came in front of Abul Fadil was sent to Jahannam. The land of Karbala went into a state of zilzal. They didn't know, is this Abbas or has Ali ibn al-Karrar come back to the dunya into Karbala? Abul Fadil conquered the Furat. 4,000 archers dispelled from their position. Like the wind of death, Abul Fadil fell upon them. I saw in the Maktal today, 800 horsemen came under the sword of Abbas to Jahannam wa bi'sal masir, and another 1,000 of them, when they saw Abul Fadil, they were so filled with terror, they fled from the battlefield, they trampled upon their own people. This is Abul Fadil, the son of Amir al-Mu'mineen, is conquered the Furat. He comes off his horse, the mashk is around his shoulder. He picks up the water from the Furat. He picks up the water from the Furat to show the people, this water that you prohibited us from, I have conquered this. He looks at the water and he says, Ya nafsu ba'da al-Husayni huni. وَبَعْدَهُ لَا كُنْتِ أَن تَكُونِ. He says, Ya nafs, Ya nafs, don't drink this water because there is no value in life after Hussein. Allah. Ya nafsu ba'da al-Husayni huni wa ba'dahu la kunti an takuni. He's holding the water. He says, Hadha al-Husayn warid al-manuni. This is a Hussein who is as a prisoner under siege. Wa tashrabin barid al-ma'ini. And you drink cold water. This is the Aqidah of Abul Fadil. What does he say? La wallah. This is not my deen that I drink water while Hussein is thirsty. Throws down the water. 4,000 archers and the rest of the army of Umar ibn Sa'ad have been pushed back in fear, looking Umar ibn Sa'ad and shimmer at what Abul Fadil will do. He gathers the water into his mashk and he puts the mashk around his shoulder. Allah ya Shi'at ala Muhammad. He puts the mashk around his shoulder. He has his sword in his one hand and he has the alam on the other hand. The eye of Abul Fadil Abbas is on the khaymaga. His determination is set. His mission is one. His goal is one. Those are children of Hussein, yatims that are sitting there waiting with their water cups for Abul Fadil to come back. Which is why the narrations mention as soon as he filled the water, he got onto his horse and he charged towards the direction of the khaymaga. As soon as Umar ibn Sa'ad saw this, he said, do not let a drop of water reach the khaymaga, because if they drink water, they will annihilate the remaining of our army. They said, what should we do? Umar ibn Sa'ad said to Shimar, take a cavalry and attack him from every direction. People were too scared. The narrations mention over here that 1,000 men with spears on their horses and swordsmen charged in the direction of Abul Fadil. Abul Fadil was defending himself in the most intense manner, but they brought in reinforcement of spears. They started attacking Abul Fadil from every direction. So Abul Fadil went away from the Maidan between the palm trees because his goal is to get to the khaymaga. As soon as he entered into the lane where there are palm trees, there is one of the kuffar by the name of Zayd ibn Arqam, Zayd ibn Warqa. He went and he hid behind the palm tree as Abul Fadil was riding his horse doing the jihad. Ya Allah, Matamiz. He came and he struck the right hand of Abul Fadil. Allah, Allah. As soon as the right hand was severed just from above the wrist, Abul Fadil is seeing this later part of his hand is on the earth, on the sand of Karbala. He is bleeding profusely. He had quickly taken the sword in the left hand. Do you know what Abul Fadil said when his right hand was cut? He said, In kata'atumu yamini. Even if you cut my right hand, inni uhami abadan andini. I I shall continue to defend my religion. Abul Fadil with the sword on the left hand. The mashk is still around his shoulder, holding the alam with the left, and the chest kept moving forward. The Maktal says he sent 180 people to Jahannam wa bi'sal masir as he came towards another palm tree. Another one of the enemies by the name of Hakim ibn Tufail was hiding. He severed the left hand of Abul Fadil. Allahu Akbar. Abul Fadil took the mashk with his teeth. Abul Fadil has no arms. He's looking at the arms that are severed. The blood is flowing down. At that time, Shimar said, he has no hands. Take advantage and attack him. So the Maktal says they shot 4,000 arrows towards the direction of Abul Fadil. From the arrows that fell on Mullah Abbas, I want to mention for you 3 arrows. Allahu Akbar. And these 3 arrows really hurt Abul Fadil Abbas. He says the first one was the arrow that pierced the chest of Abul Fadil. The second arrow, there is an arrow that pierced the eye of Abbas. Allah. And the third one, which is perhaps the most painful one, Hurmala took an arrow and he pierced the mashk of Abul Fadil. Abul Fadil is seeing that the water is pouring down to the earth by Allah Rabbal Alameen. The heart of Abul Fadil melted with the water on the plains of Karbala. Allah, his Shiat Ali Muhammad Abul Fadil is without any hands. The mashk is empty. The water is pouring down. The narrations mention that one eye was covered with blood and the other eye has an arrow. If there is something in your eye and it is irritating or hurting you, you will use your hand to remove it. Abul Fadil didn't have any hands, but the arrow was hurting him. Do you know what the Maktal says? That he lowered his head and he put his knees together to try and remove the tail end of the arrow with his knees. While he was in this position, one of the enemies came. The Maktal says, فَضَرَبَهُ الْعَيْنِ بِالْعَمُودِ عَلَى رَأْسِهِ. They struck Abul Fadil with a tent pole on the head. So Abul Fadil fell on the plains of Matam is when a person falls, they break the fall with their hands. But Abul Fadil, he had no hands, he fell face first. Maktal says when he fell, that arrow that was lodged in his eye got pushed even deeper. So he cried out, Alayka minni salam. Don't ask me. Don't ask me how Abul Fadil reached Imam al-Hussein. But the Maktal says that when he heard the cry of Abul Fadil from the Khaybaga, Imam al-Hussein went running out. Hamid bin Muslim says every 2 steps Imam al-Hussein ran, he fell down on the grounds of Karbala. He stood up, Imam al-Hussein fell down again. Hamid ibn Muslim says, I went closer. I heard Imam al-Hussein say, Al-an inkasara dhahri. Allah. Allah, now my back is broken. Imam al-Hussein reaches Abul Fadil. Abul Fadil becomes Shaheed. This is the final part of the Masaib over here. He's coming back to the Khaybaga without the body of Abul Fadil. He comes to the Khaybaga. I saw in the Maktal that when he returned back, Imam al-Hussein was so heartbroken. When he was walking back to the Khaybaga, he was wiping his tears with the sleeve of his shirt. He came to the Khaybaga. And he didn't know how to tell the women and how to tell the children that Abbas has become Shaheed. These words were not coming into the mouth of Imam al-Hussein. So do you know what Imam Hussein did? Abul Fadil slowly started dismantling the khaymah of Imam al-Hussein. He started closing down the khaymah. As in from here, Sakina understood that my uncle Abbas is not coming back. Final part of the Masaib. Do you know what Sakina did? Masoom, 3-year-old girl. She went to Imam al-Hussein. She held his hand. She said, Baba, come down. Imam al-Hussein came down. She says to Imam al-Hussein in the ear, tell my uncle Abbas I'm not thirsty anymore. Tell him, come back, we don't want water.
खैमे में गुल है बपा लो वो अलम आता है रन से अलमदार का लो वो अलम आता है मशके सकीना की भी देखो वो है बंद रही खून में डूबा हुआ लो अलम आता है पीटते हैं सर इमाम रो रो के हर एक गाम गाजी तसद्दुक हुआ लो अलम आता है भाई के अब सदमे से शाह नहीं जीने के मौत का है सामना लो अलम आता है हो चुके बेकासिमा जंग हुई है इख्तिका भाई भी काम आ चुका लो अलम आता है या हुसैन सर पीट के बोले हरम आया अलम अब्बास का सर पीट के बोले हरम आया अलम अब्बास अब्बास का सर पीट के बोले हरम आया अलम अब्बास का पंजा नजर जब आ गया हंस कर सकीना ने कहा बेआब थे बेताब हम आया अलम अब्बास का सर पीट के बोले हरम अब्बास का सर पीट के बोले हरम आया अपन जा नजर जब आ गया हंस कर सकीना ने कहा बेआब थे बेताब हम आया अलम अब्बास का सर पीट का सर पीट के बोले हरम आया मशकी ज़बिन ते शाह का छोबे अलम से बंदा किस शान से एले गम आया अलम अब्बास का सर पीट के बोले हरम आया अलम अब्बास का सर पीट के बोले हरम आया अलम अब्बास का या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन
आले इमरान कहाँ और जिंदान कहाँ ले बहन के दर हुई तू नाया गाजी जब रिदा सर से चीनी मैं सदा देती रही जब रिदा सर मैं सदा देती तू ना आया आ गई शाम अलम लुट गए अहले हरम रेत पर चलती हुई हो गया ठंडा अलम पुरस देने के लिए तुझसे मिलने के लिए आ गए बाबा अली तू ना आया जब रिदा सर से छीनी मैं सदा देती रही धूप में तू था सजर तुझसे आबाए तकर ए बरहना मेरा सर क्या नहीं तुझको खबर ए अलमदार वफा उस बहन को बाखुदा तुझसे दारसती भरी रिधा सर से चीनी मैं सदा देती रही क्या कहूँ शेर मेरे बेरिदा हम को लिए ये मुसलमान सारे शहर दर शहर गए खिलकत कूफा कभी खिलकत शाम कभी बारहा हम पे हंसी तू ना आया रिदा सर से चीनी सदा देती रही तू ना आया हमको पानी ना मिले तेरी खुशबू तो रहे तेरे बाजू ना कते चाहे मशकी जांची दे ये मगर हो ना सका तेरे बाजू है जुदा मुझ पे है तशला नबी तू ना आया काजी
जब रिदा सर से छिनी मैं सदा देती रही तू ना आया गाजी या हुसैन 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 या हुसैन
Bawafaya, Bawafaya Abbas, Bawafaya Abbas, 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 महफूज काफिला है अब्बास जो जिंदा है महफूज काफिला है अब्बास जो जिंदा है अभी दूर करबला है अभी दूर करबला है अभी दूर करबला है अब्बास जो जिंदा है इस नूरी कारवा में नूरी अमारियाँ हैं नूरी अमारियों में नूरी सवारियाँ है नूरी सवारियाँ है सर पर अलम खुला है अब्बास जो जिंदा है अभी दूर करबला है अभी दूर करबला है अभी दूर करबला है अब्बास जो जिंदा है अब्बास जो जिंदा है नामहरम का मजमा हट हट के है गुजरता पहरे में बावफा कहते हो रहा है रास्ता ते हो रहा है रास्ता क्या शान ओ दबदबा है अब्बास जो जिंदा है अभी दूर करबला है अभी दूर करबला है अभी दूर करबला है अब्बास जो जिंदा है अब्बास जो जिंदा है अब्बास जैसा 22 सालारी कारवा है बोले हुसैन मुझको फिर कोई गम कहा है फिर कोई गम कहा है हर गम की ये दवा है अब्बास जो जिंदा है अभी दूर करबला है अभी दूर करबला है अभी दूर करबला है अब्बास जो जिंदा है अब्बास जो जिंदा है अब्बास जैसा 22 सालारी कारवा है बोले हुसैन मुझको फिर कोई गम कहा है फिर कोई गम कहा है हर गम की ये दवा है अब्बास जो जिंदा है अभी दूर करबला है अभी दूर करबला है अभी दूर करबला है अब्बास जो जिंदा है अब्बास जो जिंदा है बावफा या अब्बास बावफा या
जिंदा से रिहा होकर जिस दाम जब कर वो बला में आए हराम नाके से गिरी ज़ैनब दुखिया और जख्मी जख्मी रखती कदम
रोकर गाजी से कहने लगी, बाबा ने मुझे समझाया था, ए बेटी घर में पैदल चल, चलना है तुझे मीलों तन्हा। हो मेरे गाजी गैरत वाले, हो मेरी गाजी गैरत वाले, हो मेरी चादर के रखवाले, हम मुझे गिर के संभलना, आ गया मुझे पैदल चलना, आ गया मुझे पैदल चलना, आ गया अब्बा मुझे पैदल चलना। मश्को अलम वाले मेरे शाह वफा, आवाज दे उम्मुल बनी के लाडले, हर गम से गुजरना, आ गया मुझे पैदल चलना, आ गया अब्बास मुझे पैदल चलना, आ गया कहंदी सिरों पैसण मजबूर बहु तेरी भैन नागल किसे ते पैण जिवें जालिम रस्सियां पा गया मुझे पैदल चलना, आ गया अब्बा मुझे पैदल चलना, आ गया ले शाम से मैं आ गई गाजी में क्यों जिंदा रही, साया न था मीलों कोई मुझे धूप में चलना, आ गया मुझे पैदल चलना, आ गया मुझे पैदल चलना। दुखी भैन दा गाजी भिरा हुण की करा मैनू दसा, खली वीर वे मैं बेरी दा तेरा झड़ना मार मुका गया मुझे पैदल चलना, आ गया अब्बास मुझे पैदल चलना, आ गया देखे सजे आदा के घर नेज़ों पे थे प्यारों के सर, टुकड़े हुआ मेरा जिगर मुझे याद मदीना, आ गया मुझे पैदल चलना, अब्बास मुझे पैदल बाजार था दरबार था जंजीर थी बीमार था, जीना मेरा दुश्वार था हर दर्द को सहना, आ गया मुझे पैदल चलना, आ गया अब्बास मुझे पैदल चलना। ए सरवरो रेहान सोचो जरा क्या था गजब बिनते अली कहती थी जब मुझे जीना मरना, आ गया मुझे पैदल चलना, अब्बा मुझे पैदल चलना, आ गया या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन
या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन हुसैन या 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 हुसैन हुसैन या 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 हुसैन परदेस में हुसैन की परदेस में हुसैन की बस्ती उजड़ गई, गाजी तेरे बाद क़यामत गुज़र गई गाज़ी, तेरे बाद क़यामत गुज़र गई गाज़ी, तेरे बाद क़यामत गुज़र गई गाज़ी, तेरे बाद क़यामत गुज़र गई। परदेस में हुसैन की, परदेस में हुसैन की बस्ती उजड़ गई गाज़ी, तेरे बाद क़यामत गुज़र 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 गई। दरिया से जब न लौटा सादात का सहारा, औलाद फातिमा ने फिर चैन ही न पाया, ज़हरा की कायनात ही, ज़हरा की कायनात ही बन में बिखर गई गाज़ी, तेरे बाद क़यामत गुज़र 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 गई। दरिया से जब न लौटा सादात का सहारा, औलाद फातिमा ने फिर चैन ही न पाया, ज़हरा की कायनात ही, ज़हरा की कायनात ही बन में बिखर गई गाज़ी, तेरे बाद क़यामत गुज़र 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 गई। तेरी लाडली सकीना सदमे उठा रही है, तेरी लाडली सकीना सदमे उठा रही है, जब से गया है गाज़ी उसको बुला रही है, सोती नहीं है चैन से, सोती नहीं है चैन से, इतना वो डर गई गाज़ी, तेरे बाद क़यामत गुज़र 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 गई। अब्बास जब तलक था शह को ना कोई गम था, महफूज थी रिदाएं जब ज़ामिने हरम था, वो क्या शहीद हो गया, वो क्या शहीद हो गया, हर आस मर गई गाज़ी, तेरे बाद क़यामत गुज़र 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 गई। ज़ैनब ने बाद तेरे क्या क्या सितम उठाए, दिल के वो ज़ख्म सारे किसको भला दिखाए, होंठों पे तेरा नाम था, होंठों पे तेरा नाम था, ज़ैनब जिधर गई गाज़ी, तेरे बाद क़यामत गुजर गई गाजी तेरे बाद क़यामत गुजर गई गाजी तेरे बाद क़यामत गुजर गई गाजी तेरे बाद क़यामत अब्बास जब तलक था शह को ना कोई गम था महफूज थी रिदाएं जब ज़ामिने हरम था वो क्या शहीद हो गया वो क्या शहीद हो गया हर आस मर गई गाजी तेरे बाद क़यामत गुजर 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 गई हसनैन का था बाजू कुनबे की जान था वो शहजादियों के सर पे एक साएबान था वो सबको जुदाई ये तेरी सबको जुदाई ये तेरी बेआस कर गई गाजी तेरे बाद क़यामत गुजर गई गाजी तेरे बाद क़यामत गुजर गई बाद क़यामत गुजर गई गाजी तेरे बाद क़यामत गुजर गई तेरी लाडली सकीना सदमे उठा रही है जब से गया है गाजी उसको बुला रही है सोती नहीं है चैन से सोती नहीं है चैन से इतना वो डर गई गाजी तेरे बाद क़यामत गुजर गई गाजी तेरे बाद क़यामत गुजर गई गाजी तेरे बाद क़यामत गुजर गई या हुसैन या हुसैन या सैयदी या अब्बास या अबुल फजल अब्बास या सैयदी या अब्बास या सैयदी या अब्बास या अबुल फजल अब्बास तारों से मारा गया या अबुल फजल अब्बास सकीना के चाचा जान या अबुल फजल अब्बास अलमदार हुसैन या अबुल फजल अब्बास इब्ने साकी कौसर या अबुल फजल अब्बास टूटी आका की कमर या अबुल फजल अब्बास अलविदा या सैयदी अलविदा या सैयदी अलविदा या मजलूम अलविदा या शहीद अलविदा या अब्बास अलविदा या हुसैन 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 اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين وعلى أخيك الشهيد أبا الفضل عباس بن أمير المؤمنين. لعن الله من قتلك ولعن الله من ظلمك ولعن الله من جهل حقك واستخف بحرمتك ولعن الله من حال بينك وبين ماء الفرات. أشهد أنك قتلت مظلوما بأبي أنت وأمي يا ناصر دين الله. السلام عليك يا ناصر الحسين الصديق. السلام عليك يا ناصر الحسين الشهيد. عليك مني السلام ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار. السلام عليك وعلى أختك زينب وأم كلثوم المرضية وبنتك سكينة ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا شمس الشموس وأنيس النفوس أيها المدفون بأرض توس. الرضا المرتضى الراضي بالقدر والقضاء مولانا علي بن موسى الرضا. كن شفيعنا وشفيع والدينا في يوم الجزاء. وفقنا الله لزيارتك يا مولاي، والصلاة والسلام على آبائك الطاهرين وأبنائك المعصومين وعلى أختك فاطمة المعصومة ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا حجة الله يا ابن الحسن يا صاحب العصر والزمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان. عجل الله لك ما وعدك من النصر وظهور الأمر ورحمة الله وبركاته.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن نبيك الحجة من الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آله في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه وتكاثرا وتمته فيها طويلا.
إلى أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات